Every woman has a story, one of courage, resilience, and change. Some fought for truth. Some lifted a nation. Some built something bigger than themselves. But none of them waited for permission to be heard. This Women's Month, the Pod Network, in partnership with Hit Productions, honors Filipino women who spoke up, stood up, and changed the game. Because women who talk know how to listen. This is Hear Her Story. Socorro Ramos, a woman who built an empire from a single book. As the founder of National Bookstore, she started with a humble shop, selling books and school supplies through war and hardship. But she never stopped believing in the power of knowledge. Through her perseverance, she turned a small business into a household name, proving that success is not just about profit. It's about giving generations the tools to dream. This is her story. This Women's Month, we celebrate voices that inspire. At the Pod Network, together with Hit Productions, we're proud to share these stories. Because every woman's journey deserves to be heard. Because women who talk know how to listen.
The Pod Network Entertainment.
Knowing the right people can lead you to, the right opportunity. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to have the skills, but sometimes it's also just knowing the right people. And I cannot stress this enough that in the industry, especially in the fashion industry, it's almost like a small industry because people know each other. People almost know everyone. And so don't be afraid to network and put yourself out there. Try to meet people, try to ask for help and build that network. It's going to be your most valuable, asset.
Do Filipinos have a hard time with this?
I had a hard
You
time.
had a hard time. Okay.
I am intrinsically an introvert.
Same.
Diba? It's
right.
Even this is out of my comfort zone.
You look very comfortable.
I'm trying to just okay.
You fooled us. Hi, this is Mirza Season. Welcome to You Can Do This, a podcast that'll help you achieve your dreams and goals one episode at a time. What are you waiting for? Let's go! 5 years ago, during the COVID pandemic, our guest went into debt to take a huge financial and death-defying gamble by flying to London to fulfill her dream. With no guarantees and no safety net, she relied solely on her self-belief, strength, resilience, and grit to chase her dream of making it in the international fashion industry. Despite all her struggles and moments when she almost gave up, her gamble paid off. In the end, if you've ever hesitated to follow your dreams because of fear or doubt, our conversation today is perfect for you. She's a chemical engineering graduate from UP Los Baños who realized that her true passion lay elsewhere. Early opportunities led her to participate in beauty pageants where expert beauty queen makers tried to convince her to drastically change her appearance, e.g. her nose,
Yes.
and demeanor in order to fit the pageant mold. Winning a modeling competition changed her trajectory towards high fashion, and today she has built a successful modeling career in London and has worked with and been featured in campaigns with global brands like Rayban Meta, Pandora, Primark, Adidas, Puma, Glenlivet, is that how you pronounce it? Sephora, Boots, ASOS, Boohoo, and Nestia, among many others. She has also founded her own mother agency called Eiveren Models to help Filipino models break into the international fashion scene. Please welcome Ella Eiveren Lubag.
Thanks for having me.
Hi.
I can't believe it's been 5 years.
I know.
And our first conversation was like, I don't even know what was I gonna do. Parang, wow.
You
it's
had
been 5
just
years.
arrived there and
Yes.
started to make waves. I think you were just months.
Actually, I think it was
months
probably
in.
a week or probably 2 weeks before flying to London, from what I remember. And now looking back at it, I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Indeed. What were you thinking? And now you're like a jet-setting, globe-trotting international model. How does it feel to be called that?
I don't know. I feel like I still don't want to be called that. I'm still myself. I'm
Right.
still Ella, the same Ella who I was before. And it feels like a big pressure for people to call me I'm an international model, but sometimes I realize, oh my God, yes, I am an international model. Yeah.
With a lot of airplane miles.
Yes.
So take us back to that moment when you decided to take a huge risk. Tell us the story.
Well, looking back at it was a pandemic. I flew to London in the middle of October 2020. Literally, when I arrived to London the next week after they announced second lockdown. So I was like, oh my God, I came here for work. What would happen? And then because it's a pandemic, I was starting to use up my savings kasi walang work in. Everything was closed. And I had to like ask for my agency back then, like, can you pay for my flights? I'll pay you back, etc. I asked my mom for a pocket money, and it was like only probably less than 300 pounds, and I was there for at least 3 months. So honestly, thinking back, I was like, what was I thinking? But my motivation back then was like, because nothing was happening during the pandemic, I was feeling so restless
right.
that I'd rather risk and try my luck there. If it fails,
Right.
then it's fine. At least I did something rather than just be stagnant in one place and just wait for what's gonna happen.
Right.
So-
What gave you the courage to do that? Like no guarantees, you could come back with even more utang.
It was really that. It was like the feeling of restlessness, just I can't do it. I really can't do it. And at the same time, tawag dito, when I decided to pursue modeling over engineering, I said I will try everything I can, blood, sweat, tears, really try everything as much as I can to make this career work. And if not, then that's where I'll find my next career. So
Wow.
yeah.
Sounds familiar. Parang buhay ko rin. What was the hardest part about being in London alone, starving, I guess, saving your money in the cold?
I guess a normal person would say the struggle was probably not having enough money
Right.
to survive and like having that uncertainty. When am I gonna get my next money? But for me, the first week until almost like 3 years, the hardest bit was like feeling the homesickness and not feeling that I have a community, that's something like someone that I can rely on. It was really tough, and then it didn't help that it was bad weather, especially
Right.
during winter. So I really felt I was alone. Yeah, I'd say that's probably the hardest bit.
Right. So things changed when you started getting work.
Yes.
And is it true that yung inutang mo, first job pa lang, bayad na? Parang I heard that
Parang
somebody said.
it came to a point where in one payment.
Oh.
So it's not necessarily one job. I think it was
Okay.
probably two to three
Right.
jobs, but one payment, everything was sorted and big relief.
And how
Talaga.
many weeks or months later was that?
It was maybe I'd say a month after.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
a month after. So I was like, okay, it's paying off.
Right.
There's something's happening.
Right.
Let's keep going. Let's keep doing this. Yeah.
Right. What do you think is the reason why you became a hit? What do people tell you about your look? And I mean, so many models try their luck, right?
Yeah.
And not everyone gets the chance.
I guess as maybe as an agent, they see that I'm an Asian, and you don't normally see an Asian with blonde hair.
Right.
But some of the makeup artists would really compliment my eyes.
Okay.
And then I guess there's also this look, like if you see me, you don't necessarily know what kind of Asian I am.
Right,
Maybe
right.
that's that.
Pan-Asian.
Exactly.
Right.
But at the same time, I guess being in London, there's like hundreds of models that come in every time, every season. And I'd like to think that, well, this is what I do at least, whether it's a casting, whether it's a shoot. I always try to put my best forward, my best self forward, and make sure I don't, I don't know, I have good work ethics, I'm
Right.
on time, etc. I socialize with people. I make things work easy. Because at the
Right.
end of the day, I'm just a canvas.
Right.
Technically, if you look at it, I'm really nothing in this group. And my team, they're the one who's gonna make me look amazing, or make things work so it's good for the client.
Right.
And if I'm not gonna make things easy for them, then why would they work with me?
Right.
So
Right.
I'd say, yeah, that's probably what clients think or see at me, and they keep on
Right.
booking me.
Right. And speaking of your features, these same features, I'm not sure if like when you were younger, did people call you like, because you have a panga.
Yes.
And I'm sure people say maybe you're pango. Sort of
Yes.
pango and
Oh my
panga.
God.
Like, did you have a complex? Did you think they were not attractive? And then now these are the very things that are making you successful in modeling.
I even remember a time where I would even put like a clothing pin on my nose just to make my nose pointier, kasi that was what they considered beautiful.
Right.
And even the shows in on TV, who are the people that you see? Someone who's white, someone who has
Right.
the Western features. So of course, I never felt really beautiful growing up.
Right.
And it has really affected, especially as a woman. I think it has more effect on your confidence, on your self-worth.
Right.
And it takes a while. It's a process to get over that. And so it also didn't help that I did pageantry. I did pageantry for 7 years.
Oh my God. I didn't know it was that long.
And it was during university. And when I came to university, I was just only 14 years old.
Wow.
So imagine how young I was. I'd say parang hindi pa luto yung self-confidence ko, my self-worth. I can get easily swayed. I don't even know how the younger generation deal with social media right now, but it's probably harder now. But, and being in the pageantry, yes, it empower women, but there is also some cons. And being in the pageantry myself, I've seen the toxic side of it. It's also hard to always be compared with women. And then, no matter how hard you try, the woman that you see winning has some certain specific features that I do
Right.
not have.
Right.
So of course I get to question myself. I get to question. And when that opportunity, the nose job opportunity came, I already had a sponsor and they were only just waiting for me to say yes.
Oh my gosh.
So I really consider that because I want to win the crown. I guess at one point, maybe that time, parang baka yun pa ata yung self-validation ko is for the crown, which is really
Right.
bad. But I understand I had to go through that to now finally come to this point where I know, with or without, I'm content with myself, and yeah, I have my own self-validation.
Wow. So what made you not go through it?
I think so growing up, I grew up in a Christian family, and there's this verse in the Bible about saying, God created me in his own image and I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And that was really enough for me. So I said, you know what, this bigger being has created me perfectly and wonderfully made. He's bigger than the humans. He's bigger than these people around me. So yeah, why would I question my beauty? That was
Right.
really enough.
And what do you want to say to all the young, impressionable women struggling with those, I guess, very Caucasian beauty standards? Kasi lahat nagpapagawa ng ilong or, I don't know, did they even comment on your jawline? Did they want you to have like a sweeter face or pageant hair?
Yes. Tawag dito, I guess I'd get to the point.
Right.
I don't want to say cliche words. I'd be a bit pragmatic on this topic kasi let's face it, everyone would most likely say, oh, just be who you are. But
Yeah.
it's not really enough. Saying that is so easy
Be
to
who
say.
you are except for your nose and jawline.
I guess I'd think it this way for everyone out there. Look, historically, a person of color wasn't considered beautiful back then. They were even considered less worthy and considered slaves. Ano pa ba? Si Marilyn Monroe, she was really beautiful, but if you see her features, her body was actually quite curvy. And then during the supermodel era, suddenly the beautiful were the skinny ones, the tall and skinny girls. And then now, especially if you go to Milan and Paris Fashion Week, all the black models, they're, oh my God, everyone's like raving for them, the hype for them. They want every designer wants them.
Wow.
So if it's a standard, how is it so inconsistent throughout these years?
Right.
So I'd say let's just, remove that standard, whatever that is. I think it's nonsense because it's been changing, and we keep on focusing on the physical attributes while there's still other aspects of beauty that's more important, like what's up here, your personality. And I think that's what people should focus more. And you can be beautiful by having a beautiful mind, having an amazing personality, interesting personality, and a kind heart.
Right. And,
Yeah.
to the young girl who's saving up for a nose job because she's been told that a tall nose is beautiful, what's your message?
I'm not against surgery, plastic surgery, if that's really what you really want. What matters for me is that the truth deep inside you, is that what's gonna make you happy, is that gonna make you content, then go, if that's who you are. But just make sure that self-validation is not dependent on that. Your worth is still, what's this? It should be bigger than that.
Right.
And don't always believe Instagram and social media. For sure, they always edit a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, and when you meet them, they don't look like themselves.
Exactly.
Right. Aside from your look and your work ethic, to what do you attribute your success?
Wow, that's a hard question.
What do people not know about the modeling industry, and how hard is it to actually succeed? That there are if you go to
Yeah.
let's say a casting, how many people are in the room?
Yeah.
And then how many people get in?
Yeah.
Ganyan.
Well, what people don't really realize with modeling, or even being a freelancer, it's really a change of lifestyle. First, the anxiety of not knowing when your next job is. You got to deal with that. Quick, because when you let your anxiety overwhelm you too much, when you get depressed, and then when you're depressed, it manifests in your physical, and when it manifests in your physical attributes or physical being, then you don't look good in camera. So by that, you gotta change your whole lifestyle. And the next, it's not always just about beauty. It's not always just about looking beautiful. It's a lot of hard work. Like our normal 9 to 5 shoot is, most of the time we only get to sit probably an hour or 2 hours in that day. And
A lot
people-
of physical work.
Exactly.
Right.
And people don't even realize that. And at the same time, we need to keep up what we have, So that's a lot of work. We go to facials, we have our skincare, we take care of our body, we take care of our minds. Ano pa ba?
What do you eat? Or not eat?
Oh, I had to remove rice.
Oh no.
I had to remove rice. But yeah, so things like that. And then I guess my advantage would be, I had a chemical engineering background. I have this, I was trained to have a mind that would always look for solution. If I have a problem, I would look out for
Scientific method.
Exactly. And I wish the industry would be more scientific, Pero wala eh. There's no book of like, okay, step 1, this is what you're gonna do. Step 2, and then you get the success. No, there's not like that in the fashion industry. Everything is so subjective, which is quite annoying. But I learned to adapt, and I look outside of the box, try to find solutions. And if anything, I feel like most models won't necessarily strategize their career. But at this point, I'm already thinking of strategizing my career so I can get to my goal and to the longer, long-term goal that I have.
Right.
Not all models would think that.
Right.
And I'm glad that I didn't come into the industry at such a young age as well, because I would be so naive, I'd be easily persuaded, etc. And coming to the industry, there's so many young girls that just come at as young as 15
Yeah.
or 14 sometimes. And imagine what they're going to go through. So yeah, I guess it's a mix of my background, my culture, my upbringing, and that helped me get to where I am right now.
A quick commercial break, and we'll be back in a flash. Hey! Nakikinig ka ba sa podcasts? You can win 5,000 pesos in cash if you answer this survey. Visit go.fourthwallglobal.com/survey. That's go.fourthwallglobal.com/survey. And make sure you complete the survey to be qualified. O, di ba? Nag-survey ka lang, nagka 5,000 pesos ka pa. Winner!
Do you feel lost, doubting yourself, and tired? You question your worth and existence? Well, I'm here for you. Hey, this is Gailey Chavez, and I'm the host of Free Yourself Podcast. My podcast talks about self-love, self-discovery, and growth. This is for everyone who wants to live their fullest life and become the person that they could be. Let me help out and remind you that this is your life, your path, that you are not broken and you are worth it. Catch me every Friday at 8 p.m. See ya!
What are some of the major and challenging decisions that you've made along the way?
So, well, first was deciding to choose modeling over
Right.
chemical engineering. The next was risking everything in London.
Yes.
Then the next part is I was in London and things weren't really working out with my previous agency. And I was like, I think I need to let go of them because it's not aligning to what I want anymore. But am I able to do it? Can I do it myself? So having to let go of that support, I guess my main support and sort of my comfort zone at that time was also a bit risky because I had to find my own agency there, walk in different agencies, hope for the best, hope someone still likes me. But yeah, it worked out for the best. I found a
Right.
better agency and my career has skyrocketed even more.
Right. And now in phase 3, you're putting up your own agency. Tell us
Yes.
how it started, why you decided to do it.
So it wasn't really planned, but along the way, a lot of models and some were friends, some were strangers would message me on Instagram. Hey, I really want to try London. How have you done it? Tell me what to do, etc. And then I realized, hold on a second, there are so many models who really want to know how to do it. And I've done the whole process. I've done the visa. I have a Philippine passport. I know the headache of visa issues. I've set up my taxes already, etc. I've found my own agency as well. I've done it. So if I can do this, I can just build my own agency. But this time, I have a vision of that this agency would be more it's for the models. It's really for the models, I want to be open to them and show them, teach them, train them the pros and cons, what people don't necessarily discuss, what happens in the modeling industry, which I wish someone told me before. But I had to learn all of this through experience. And that's what I wanted to tell them, what I wanted to share to them. And at the same time, I have this vision of like, seeing more Filipino models out there in the runway, out there in the international fashion scene, and hopefully be the leading mother agency that would do that.
Wow. Why do you think there aren't so many?
I really don't know. I'm surprised because every time there's a brief, let's say there's a client brief, we want Asians. And for example, when I tried my luck in Milan and Paris Fashion Week, they would say, okay, we're looking for Asians, etc. I would see the room and the Asians that they would sort of cast are just, Asians that either Japanese, Korean, or Chinese. And I'm like, there's so many other Asians out there. And I feel like the world hasn't even discovered fully the beauty of Filipinos, our culture, our personality, even our work ethics. We're so known to persevere and to be resilient and, we adapt. And I wish they could see that. So I really want to see more faces out there. There has been a few models that's been succeeding, like Hannah Loxine, like even Paolo Rodan.
Yes.
Diba? But like, we need to multiply this,
Right. Right. So now that you're you have 7 models, right?
Yes, at the moment.
What were your criteria in scouting them? And I guess this is based on what the international market wants.
Exactly. So I have that in mind, of course. And what the international market wants now is a model that's not just a canvas anymore. They want to see the personality. They want to see who you are. You can't just be a beautiful face anymore. What are your hobbies, etc. So I get to know them. At first, I was hoping to just do castings online lang. But then I realized I don't really get to know them. I don't really see how they look physically. So I held a casting last February 1 and 2 in Manila to see and meet them, because you almost have to have like the whole package now.
Yeah.
Parang to that's so almost like the definition of how you can be a model in this market, in London or Europe market at least.
Wow. So at what stage are you in? Like, what are the models doing? At what stage will you bring them there? Or how is it working out?
So the process would be once we get a model on board, we want to see their portfolio, and we start from there. What do you have with your portfolio? Because at the end of the day, that's our Bible. That's what you get. That's how you get clients and agencies. And then we build their portfolio to cater that market. And then after that, we reach out to agencies and hope for the best. So it's really a risk. Again, I think I'm just attracted to risk.
And speaking of risk, what's your advice for women who want to take a risk at their dreams, but they're afraid?
I have some 5 tips.
Yes.
If that's okay. I have
Good
my
student
código.
talaga. May kódigo.
I've actually watched your episode with Isa, and I was like, oh, that's good. I'll do my take notes. So yeah, my 5 tips. First is visualize the dream. So it's not enough to just say, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a beauty queen, or I want to be a teacher. Visualize the dream. How do you see yourself as an astronaut? How do you see yourself as a model? For me, when I visualize my career, I even put photos of,
May vision board.
Yes, I have a vision board. Ito yung mga inspo kong models. Ito yung mga inspiration kong mga content creators, etc. These are the brands I want to work with. So the clearer it is, the more detailed it is, the better. Visualize that. You almost have to live in that dream. And then the next one is don't be scared or embarrassed to ask for help. I learned this with my partner. He keeps telling me that people genuinely love to help. And I don't know why people are just ashamed to ask for help, but actually when you ask them, they feel like they're needed, and so they're just genuinely want to help. And you'd be surprised how much you learn or get from just asking. There's nothing wrong, and you shouldn't be ashamed to just ask for help. It doesn't make you look stupid. And then the third one is networking. Knowing the right people can lead you to the right opportunity. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to have the skills, but sometimes it's also just knowing the right people. And I cannot stress this enough that in the industry, especially in the fashion industry, it's almost like a small industry because people know each other. People almost know everyone. And so don't be afraid to network and put yourself out there. Try to meet people, try to ask for help and build that network. It's going to be your most valuable, I guess, asset.
Do Filipinos have a hard time with this?
I had a hard
You
time.
had a hard time. Okay.
I am intrinsically an
introvert. Same.
Diba? It's
right.
Even this is out of my comfort zone.
You look very comfortable.
I'm trying to just okay. Right.
You fooled us. So how did you get out of your comfort zone and network in a foreign country where you knew no one? How'd you do that?
I just knew it was, first off, I really knew it was an important thing to do because, again, like what I said, this would put me out there. It would lead me to knowing more stylists, makeup artists, photographers, etc. I have to put myself out there. No one knows me here, and it's almost like free marketing. If I try to meet more people as much as I can.
And how did you do that? Where did you go?
So I was lucky to meet models as well in London because when I was there, I knew someone who was there. she's also a Filipino model. And then she introduced me to another model. Then this model set me up with my now partner.
Oh, okay.
And then my partner has a lot of friends. He's not in the fashion industry, but like being able to mingle with his group of friends helped me sort of build that confidence. And so
Get
when
out of your shell.
exactly, and when I got an opportunity to go to fashion events, etc., it's almost sort of easier to just be
Right.
out there, bring myself or maybe bring a friend, but most of the time it was just me attending on my own and then just sort of mingle around.
Right.
And then yeah,
I remember modeling in Singapore and they said, you have to go out. Nobody knows you. Where will they see you? You're just at home. Well, I said, what do you mean? You have to go to the clubs every night. And do what? So I'd go to clubs and just stand there waiting to be spotted. And for an introvert, that's really hell.
You're like so many people. You're like, you just suddenly feel like you're
Right.
smaller. But yeah, you just really have to almost take
Right.
the plunge. I even attended like an all women networking group in
Okay.
London. So it was also nice to see different women in different walks of life, different fields, etc.
Right.
And you know, this one is a proper professional networking event. And I'm like, I'm in the fashion industry. I don't know what to contribute to this. But yeah, again, just putting yourself out there, it's just because you're out of your comfort zone, you learn so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Any more?
Oh yes, two more. Stay true and kind to yourself. I feel like because we're so focused on succeeding immediately, we forget to be kind to ourselves. And sometimes, you know, the pressure that you put on yourself is just becomes so much that you forget to realize what you've accomplished along the way. And staying true is just like, you know, you can be persuaded in the journey of like taking that risk or not taking that risk, etc. But like deep down, what is it? What's true to yourself? You got to stick to that, because at the end of the day, it's what's going to make you happy. It's your plan, it's your life. So stay true to that. And the last one is invest in yourself, because your biggest investment is going to be in yourself. So try to educate yourself, read books, etc. Whether it's even learning new hobbies, etc. If it's going to help yourself, not just, it's not necessarily for what your dream is.
Right.
But for example, I tried to do different hobbies, tried to learn new hobbies, and it helped me
Like what?
Like for example, I tried pole dancing.
Oh.
I tried pottery. I tried reformer pilates. And along the way, it just taught me more about myself. So in the process, it doesn't necessarily have to be learning about what your field is, but like it helped you gain more confidence and also know more about yourself.
Right. It's hard to be kind to yourself if you're a model. You
That's
get what I
true.
mean?
That's
like
true.
we go through our day thinking, you gained weight, you look terrible.
You get you get compared so many times.
Why are they making it and you're not?
Yes.
Right. That inner critic is so mean to ourselves. So what's
Exactly.
your advice for overcoming that?
You know what?
Whether you're a model or not.
This is one thing I've learned, because this has got to do the fear has got to do with the insecurity. The root cause is the insecurity. And I've realized throughout my life, even though I'm just 28, I've realized that the insecurity never goes away. You just sort of learn how to cope up with it, or you learn how to manage it. So I'd say embrace it. Embrace that fear. Embrace that, you know, whatever negativity your brain is thinking, your mind is thinking. But learn to adapt. Learn to like, okay, right, what's the root cause? Why am I insecure? Oh, I see. This is the reason. Okay, I need to learn to change that mindset and accept that this is who I am. You know, ask the questions, genuine questions, like really, really ask the deep cause. Why is this happening to me? Why is this why is my mind thinking this? Because if you don't know the real answer, the truth to yourself, you would keep coming back, and then you won't really know necessarily how to cope up with it. But again, every woman, especially woman, still have those insecurities. It never goes away.
Now that you've succeeded and you look at all your pictures and your posts and your commercials, I was so thrilled. I got goosebumps when I saw your Boots commercial
Yeah, it was so fun.
with what's the name of the lady from Bridgerton?
I remember her as Lady. Oh my gosh, ano nga pangalan niya? Her name is Adwa.
Okay,
Adwa.
the actress's name.
Yes.
What did that feel like?
Well, I
Being
watched
on set.
Bridgerton, and then they hid it from us that she was gonna be. They just said, there's gonna be a big star," and then on the set, I saw her photo. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna be her! She's Mrs. Santa Claus," and I was a fan. You know, I loved her in Bridgerton. It was amazing. She's really nice, and I also looked up her age. I'm like, she looks young. She's really so fit. So yeah, it was encouraging to see her working that age
Right.
and still very professional. She has this like presence like that captures the whole room.
Right.
You can really tell that she's a pro. You know.
Right. And when you were on set, how did that feel like to you? Like, oh my gosh, 5 years later, here I am, doing a major campaign like this. How did that feel like?
Not gonna lie, the idea of that only sunk when I saw the actual commercial.
Wow.
Doing that there, it was like, okay, I just need to show that I can do this and I can be professional. That's what I was
Right.
thinking on that day. At the same time, it just felt like it's just another day, ano pa, there were times where it felt like we were just playing because the
Right.
set was really cool.
Right.
Our costumes were really pretty. We have elf ears. It was just like, it felt like I was a kid in a candy
Right.
shop. But then it only sunk that idea when I watched it. And everyone was like messaging me, taking photos. Oh, I saw you in the mall. You have this like big photo.
Oh, wow.
I saw you in the cinema. This is this and that. Yeah, but I try not to get in my head. I really try not to because that's my biggest fear. I would hate myself if I become
Right.
mayabang. But yeah, it was just heartwarming to see those reactions from people. I wish my family was there to see it.
And having come this far, what do you want to tell people who were like you 5 years ago on the brink of a decision whether to gamble everything for your dreams or not? What's the message that you want to tell all of them right now?
Well, at the end of the day, it's your life. And you got to think to yourself, if I don't do this 5 years from now, would I be happy? Is this the life that I would want to if I didn't do it? Or if I do it, would I be, at least I tried. So yeah, it's still your life at the end of the day, and how you see yourself. Again, what is it true to yourself? Is that how you see yourself 5 years from now? And if it is, then it's definitely worth taking the plunge. Again, if I can do it, you can do it.
Thank you so much, Ella.
Thank you so much,
It's a perfect
Mirza.
message for Women's Month. And what is your Women's Month message to everyone?
Ooh. You know what? Women can do anything. We have the power. It's been with us this whole time from the very beginning. Now it's just time to unleash it. Own that power.
Thank you so much, and happy Women's Month, everyone. Thank you for listening to You Can Do This. If you want to know more about me, visit mirza.com. That's MYRZA.com. And follow me at Mirza Season on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you like this episode, please don't forget to rate it 5 stars. Hit the follow button on your podcast streaming platforms and hit the notification bell to get alerted every time we release a new episode. Catch you at our next convo, and always remember, you can do this.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.